So many holiday gatherings amongst friends and families, and of course, discussions take place. Sometimes they get a little heated. And following the historic presidential election that we just experienced, let's just say how that conversation is going to go. So, joining us now to discuss some of the do's and don'ts when it comes to that topic is psychotherapist Dr. Janie Lacy. Dr. Lacy, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Good. Okay, so we wanted to reach out to you because when it comes to politics, a lot of times people just say, hey, we're not doing it. We don't talk about it at all. We're not going down that rabbit hole. But as an expert, what would you say is the best way for you to navigate a conversation that may revolve around politics while being respectful of differing opinions?
Well, first, I think it's important, as you mentioned, when you're navigating these political discussions during family gatherings, I always say it requires a safe discussion approach, like going into it, especially if you know your family. We know our family. So if you know that you're walking into the family gathering and you know there's going to be a conversation, there's a couple things I would share. First is to listen to understand rather than to respond, right? It's a Stephen Covey principle, to seek first to understand and then be understood. Yeah. So rather than to just go in and being charged up and responding right away, to really go in, this is emotional intelligence, right? It's just going in to understand. And then what I would also share is personal experiences rather than debating policies. Because if you keep it on your own personal experiences rather than debating policies, those are those conversations that can easily take a left turn. So share your personal experiences if you are going to navigate these conversations. But there are some things that I would say to avoid at all costs.
Okay, give it to us.
Especially if you want things to go smoothly, if you're navigating, is do not do any character attacks or generalizations about political groups, because this is where people get into these conversations that turn left real quick, and then they leave a historical mark on the holidays. But no character attacks, generalizations about the political groups. Kind of stay away from those conversations, and then also stay away. As a licensed psychotherapist, we believe staying away from these two words in general, not just around political conversations, is helpful, but always or never, like, stay away from those types of statements, especially when you're talking about political conversations.
Got it. I did want to ask, when it comes to, there's always two in a group, right? You have one person who is has a very strong opinion of whatever they believe in, and you may have another person who says, I'm here to enjoy myself. I'm here to eat. I'm here to fellowship. And I don't even want to go down that road with you. How do you suggest handling a situation like that, where one person is very adamant about wanting to have this conversation and the other one very respectfully saying, I choose not to do that with you today?
Well, going into these family gatherings, if we can set some healthy boundaries going into them, again, knowing your environment, you can establish some ground rules even before it begins. So if you're at Big Mama's house, maybe having a conversation with Big Mama's house, right? Because then you have this neutral family member who can almost act as a moderator if needed. You know what? We're not going to have these conversations tonight at dinner. We're going to have a great time, right? So that's
that's good.
That's something that you can do to be proactive in particular. Or you can also, with the person who's hosting, you can create a signal or perhaps maybe a phrase to pause conversations that can become too heated. Because I do think you need to have a plan, especially this year, to navigate these conversations. But to focus on, this is being proactive, to plan for neutral activities that bring everyone together. I think it's important that we remember that family bonds, right? We're coming together because our family bonds are much more valuable than political victories or conversations. So going in with you understanding that me being together with my family is so much more important than what's happening from the political world. So focusing on, I would say, the shared values rather than the points of disagreement.
Yes, you are absolutely right. Dr. Lacy, before I let you go, where can people find you online?
Yes, they can find me at janielacy.com, JANIELACY.com, and all the social media platforms, the same under my name, Janie Lacy.
And you always have such great advice and information. We certainly appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Oh,